Madden holiday is here and we will play all night. Calling sick and sound sincere, in tackles will delight. The fridge is packed with drink and meat, the taste of victory sure is sweet.
Okay, so obviously a lot has happened. This was kind of a strange week in that I had to write a lot of these in separate segments. Basically, I had to write a bit of this before any of the NFL games happened, talking about the college games, and then preparing for the coaching carousel. And then obviously I had to write after the coaching carousel announcement. And then, of course, something just happened literally as I was sitting down to dinner tonight, so now we have to talk about that in the coaching carousel segment. So, yeah, things got a little wonky here. Anyway, I went 1-3 in the college football playoff this week, 3-1 in bowl games, so 400 in college, and then I went 3-1 with my NFL picks. So I guess that's I was told there would be no math. Let's see, it's 4-4 for the college picks, 3-1, so 7-5 overall. Obviously I missed on Miami, Ohio State, and Ole Miss and Georgia, as well as Ole Miss and Texas Tech. Not Oregon and Texas Tech, I mean. And yeah, I'm not really surprised by that last one. Overall, I'd say I was probably most disappointed in the Buckeyes. Boy, Julian Sand really needs to learn when it's okay to run. He kept having to throw a little check. He kept throwing little check downs, and it's like, why are you doing that? You had no one in front of you. Try to gain at least 4 or 5 yards. But no, you're dropping off a check down lateral for some stupid reason, and they wind up getting almost nothing in the process. As for Texas Tech, well, they had absolutely no offense against Oregon, but then again, Oregon didn't seem to have much in the way of offense either. A lot of their stuff came from a couple trick plays and a turnover that got them in deep territory. And I have to be honest, I actually missed most of Ole Miss Georgia. I saw the Bulldogs get those back-to-back touchdowns. I figured, yeah, this game's probably over, and I had to really go to bed. So, yeah, I missed out on all the madness there. And, of course, there was the Rose Bowl, or should I say the Fernando Mendoza Show. Yeah, I pretty much had the feeling that Bama was done in rings at the end of the first half when they fumbled it and the Hoosiers took it and immediately got a touchdown towards the end of it. I also believe that was the play that Ty Simpson was hurt on, and now apparently he's entering the transfer portal. In other college news, I forgot to talk about this last week, but Michigan finally hired former Utah coach Kyle Whittingham, who had actually just stepped down. So, again, I don't know if he was being pushed out at Utah or not, but this is a solid move. He's probably going to be there just for a few years to bring some stability to the program, which kind of needs it right now. I'm not going to get too far into the transfer portal stuff just because that's way too hard to keep track of. There's so much going on right now. So, again, we're kind of just dealing with that when it comes along. Anyway, the NFL playoff picture, as we move on to that, is now completely set as Seattle beat San Francisco in a game that was completely dominated by defense. The Seahawks run game played really well, and I think that proved to be the tipping point. That set up a lot of good play-action passes. Obviously, Kenneth Walker III converting that 3rd and 17 was a big deal. Carolina and Tampa Bay then played a slog of a game in the middle of a rainstorm. Bucks won because the Panthers decided to run a weird flea flicker, and that you think that would be all that was. However, the Panthers then won the war, as it turns out that Atlanta beat New Orleans, which gave Carolina a better divisional record, so now they go to the playoffs instead. I guess we'll get into that a little bit later as well. The second seed in the NFC was decided as the Bears and Eagles both lost. However, the Bears played their starters and the Eagles didn't, so the Bears win kind of on that tiebreaker. The Denver Broncos clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC, which was a game. Like I said last week, the Chargers were effectively conceding defeat by playing their backups. So, again, not really a shock there that they didn't win. The Broncos did not have any offensive touchdowns. The Chargers had no offensive touchdowns. In fact, no one in the AFC West had an offensive touchdown over the last week of the season. Just a lot of field goals. And that now brings us to the coaching carousel. Late Sunday night, it was announced that the Falcons had fired coach Raheem Morris and GM Terry Fontenot. So, Well, we'll get into that in just a bit. Then Sunday morning, it was announced that the Browns had fired Kevin Stefanski. Those two, I'm not entirely surprised. However, I did think maybe the late season surges those two teams had could have possibly saved them, but I guess everyone had pretty much just had enough of each other there, in particular Cleveland. Stefanski is a two-time coach of the year, so he's already kind of the leading candidate in a number of spots, outside of the one which we'll get to pretty quickly here. In less shocking news, Pete Carroll was ditched by the Raiders after one season. It's not a shock here. It was a terrible season, and it's also the Raiders, who have a tendency to just ditch coaches after one season. Likewise, in not as much of a shock, Frank Gannon is out in Arizona. That team is just... They've had really good teams on paper that just never seem to pan out. Again, I think this team needs a complete rebuild. Obviously, they're moving on from Kyler Murray. They probably just need to completely start over from scratch. I think they should probably look to trade Marvin Harrison Jr. He has not panned out. A lot of their draft picks haven't, so yeah, again, they need a complete reboot there. The Washington Commanders cleared out their offensive and defensive coordinators. That's Cliff Kingsbury and Joe Witt Jr., respectively. And I think that's important because of the doozy that dropped literally this afternoon, and that the Baltimore Ravens have fired John Harbaugh after 18 years as coach. It's kind of why I didn't really talk much about the Baltimore-Pittsburgh game, the insanity that was. I haven't been on a roller coaster ride like that in some time. It reminded me a lot of the divisional playoff game between the Steelers and Colts in, I think it was 2000. Well, it was 2005 season, but it was 2006. Right down to even the obviously shanked field goal that you knew wasn't going to go through the uprights right after it left the kicker's foot. Anyway, the news about Harbaugh broke literally. I had just gotten to my dad's for our weekly Tuesday dinner, and so we had to deal with that. I watched JG9's stream about it, and he was talking very early on about how, this is obviously clearing the way for Todd Monken to become the head coach, and then it turns out, no, Harbaugh was actually fired because he wouldn't fire Todd Monken. So you have to think that, I know I watched That's Good Sports live stream as well, and they said, Brandon Perna said that he thought it was going to be Stefanski. However, I think it's actually going to be Cliff Kingsbury. I think a lot of the experts are kind of saying that right now. At least Bleacher Report said it, that he's kind of emerged as the leading candidate. I think you look at what Kingsbury did with Jaden Daniels in Washington, at least the first year. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is probably a bigger, stronger Jaden Daniels, so that could actually be a really good match. As for Harbaugh, he has been mentioned as the leading candidate in several spots, most prominently the New York Giants, so I think either the Giants or the Raiders is probably where he's going to wind up eventually. As he's looking for something where I think it can be a bit more ready-made, especially the Giants right now. They've got a quarterback. If Cam Scatabo comes back from his injury really well, again, they got a good running back situation. They've got pretty decent wide receivers. They've got something they can really build around there, not really anywhere else. In non-firings, it appears that the Miami Dolphins are going to retain Mike McDaniel. I know he's also been mentioned as a candidate for the Baltimore Ravens, so right now at least they're retaining Mike McDaniel. And the Cincinnati Bengals are keeping Zach Taylor. A lot of people are wondering why they haven't fired him, and that's because Zach Taylor has only 1 year left on his contract, and the Bengals are incredibly cheap. That's not a joke, and that's nothing against Bengals fans at all. It's just that is a family-run business. They don't have a supplemental industry. They don't have a Home Depot empire or a hotel empire or a Walmart empire to fall back on. They just kind of have themselves, and that's it. Man, this has been one hell of an opening segment, hasn't it? Anyway, the games we're covering this week are the college football playoff semifinals. You have Oregon taking on Indiana and Ole Miss taking on Miami of Florida. Yes, I know, technically I got that backwards. Miami's the road team there, but that's just kind of how I wrote it down. Sorry. And of course, we have the NFL wildcard round in the playoffs. On the NFC side, we have the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Carolina Panthers. We have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Chicago Bears. And we have the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Then on the AFC side, we have the Buffalo Bills taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the New England Patriots, and the Houston Texans taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, we'll get to covering these games after the break. Lord knows I kind of need a break right now.
Hey, how you doing? I'm okay now that I got this Beermeister. Hey, now I can have any kind of beer I want for as little as 15 cents a glass. But you know, I kind of miss sending my wife out to the store for beer. Last month I sent it to Cleveland. Ooh, you talk about paradise. And having a Beermeister means no more bottles of cans to bring back to the supermarket. I'm tired of going in there smelling like a brewery. I brought back 40 pounds of bottles, and what do I get? $1.50. Thanks a lot. Hey, keep the change, okay?
Beermeister. Draft beer right at home. Call now for a free demonstration.
Sunshine, fun time, friendlies in the summertime.
Get a deal at Friendly's that is super fine.
A super single cone for free.
Get your pick of 23.
Friendly's rich and creamy ice cream.
It's gonna be a friendly summer.
Get a free super single cone at Friendly's when you buy any sandwich with fries. Or when you buy any platter. A great deal for a short time.
It's gonna be a friendly summer.
Ooh, it took a cold morning like this one for me to discover a really great hot cereal for my family. And who would have expected? It's grape nuts. I just pour grape nuts, add milk, and microwave for a minute. It's got a warm, smooth, hearty taste that's so delicious we all love it. And grape nuts is fat-free. It's the perfect way to help keep us all going on a cold winter's morning. Hot, delicious grape nuts. Try it for yourself.
Hot or cold, breakfast with Post Grape Nut cereal helps keep you going strong all morning long.
Our first matchup is the College Football Playoff semifinal in the Peach Bowl between Oregon and Indiana. Now, the Ducks defense definitely carried them against Texas Tech, like I said earlier. I mean, the offense had multiple 3-and-outs the whole time. Like, they would drive the ball down the field, they just wouldn't get much in the way of touchdowns. And the only reason they got as big a lead as they did was thanks to a fake punt and a couple of turnovers deep in their territory. So yeah, the offense is definitely going to have to pick things up. Remember, these two teams played each other earlier and Indiana won in Oregon. That's kind of an indicator of how much of an opponent the Hoosiers really are at this point. And that is the thing, as people are no longer slouching on Indiana. Their defense had some big plays against Alabama in the Rose Bowl. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza has proven that he will not wilt under the spotlight. That being said, much like I said previously, the Ducks are going to be keen on trying to stop him. No real shock there. So again, I do think someone else needs to step up offensively for Indiana. And that's the thing. I think Oregon's defense is really good, but again, you cannot risk Fernando Mendoza catching fire again. And there's sort of the problem. I just think Indiana's a little too strong. Oregon's a good team. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if they won, but I like Indiana in a close one here. I'm going with the Hoosiers.
For great-looking skin, you gotta nourish it every day.
Nourish from the inside. Nourish with moisture outside. Good food inside. Carry outside. Carry Silky Smooth, a moisture diet for your skin. Carry is so very
Nourishing.
This brings back memories. Oh, these are great.
What's this remind you of?
Tastes like vanilla, huh?
Senior trip.
Paris. That cafe.
Yeah.
rich, creamy tasting coffee with a hint of vanilla flavor. New French Vanilla Cafe.
I love this coffee.
New from General Foods International Coffees.
I loved that waiter. Jean-Luc.
Celebrate the moments of your life.
From Hollywood Pictures,
I was coming about the nanny position.
her plan to make this family her own.
She seems terrific. What's the catch?
Can I fix you something?
One by one, she will charm them all.
Peyton's been great. I don't know what we would have done without her.
All of them. But Claire,
You don't know what she's capable of.
That's enough! Where is she?
I'm the mother in this house.
the hand that rocks the cradle. Rated R. Starts Friday, January 10th at a theater near you.
Our next matchup is the other college football playoff semifinal being played in the Fiesta Bowl between Ole Miss and Miami of Florida. Now, the good news for the Rebels is that Trinidad Chambliss is coming back if the NCAA grants him another year of eligibility, so I don't know what exactly that means for this game, but it is news. Now, the Rebels did make the right plays against Georgia, but someone's going to have to step up for them again. I think it's got to be the running backs, Lacey, I forget who the other one is, Thomas. They're very talented, and I do think the Hurricanes are going to be keyed on stopping Chambliss and keeping him in check. I don't think they're going to be as complacent as Georgia was. Again, I think Georgia got those touchdowns, and a lot like me thought, well, we've got this made, and that's where this fell apart. As for Miami, they really did dominate the Cotton Bowl from kickoff. The Buckeyes offense just couldn't get any type of stretch, any type of juice behind the momentum. Mark Fletcher is continuing to run the ball very well for Miami. The Ole Miss run defense is pretty strong, so I do think Carson Beck is going to need to step up more. But however, if you do kind of like to play the history card, this is the 5th time Miami has played in the Fiesta Bowl. They have lost all 4 previous games played here. Technically not here, but their 4 previous Fiesta Bowl appearances. Famously, you have the 1987 National Championship game against Penn State, and of course the 2003 championship game against Ohio State. However, there's also, I believe it was 1991 or 92, they played Arizona in the Fiesta Bowl and got shut out. And then at some point early 80s, 84, I believe, they faced UCLA in the Fiesta Bowl and got dominated in that one as well. So, it's not exactly a great track record here. That being said, I think Miami's playing much better football than Ole Miss is at this point. I think this will be close early on, but ultimately the Hurricanes are going to pull away in the second half and win this. I'd like Miami to move on to the national championship game, so how about that?
Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, is now playing at theaters everywhere. But you can call 1-900-288-TREK and play the Star Trek adventure games. Complete 3 of the all-new games and earn your official Starfleet Commander's Patch. Call 1-900-288-TREK now and enter the Star Trek Adventure Contest, and you may win a Zoo Life Safari for 2 to Asia, Africa, or Australia. Call 1-900-288-TREK now. Takes about 1 minute to enter contest and about 4 minutes to play a game. $1.45 first minute, 95 cents each additional minute.
We're opening the doors to 2 hot new clubs. Introducing McDonald's McChicken Club with tender all-white meat and Quarter Pounder Club with lean, juicy beef. Both with hickory smoked bacon, cool lettuce, red ripe tomato, and mayo. Stacked up on a sesame seed bun, club style. So go out for the hot new taste of McChicken Club. Out now for a sizzling Quarter Pounder Club. But shake it. Before long, the hottest clubs in town will be gone.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Get ready to feel softer.
Never thought I could ever feel so good.
Caress with its silky touch of bath oil leaves skin softer than soap can.
Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Get ready to feel your softest.
Never felt so right on a shoulder.
There's light caress too, with a lighter fragrance.
Moving on to the NFL's wildcard round, we start things off with the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Carolina Panthers. Now, despite their best efforts, the Carolina Panthers did manage to win the NFC South. I'm willing to cut them a little slack. There was some really bad rain in Tampa, but running that weird flea flicker when you're on your opponent's 20-yard line didn't make any sense. They fumbled it. They were deep in Tampa Bay territory, so I don't know what was going on there. In fact, I want to get behind the Panthers. Remember, these two teams played each other a few weeks ago, and the Panthers dominated that game, but they've really been off the last couple of weeks. I don't know if it's just the inexperience kicking in or what exactly is going on. I mean, they only scored a couple short fields against the Buccaneers. They had one drive towards the end of the game, but yeah, that hasn't really panned out too well for them. And I think their main receivers, Tedero McMillan and Xavier Legette, are getting a little banged up. Someone else needs to step up again. Like Rico Dowdle has been kind of running into a wall the last few weeks too. Now, like I said, the Rams are definitely seeking some retribution for their earlier loss to the Panthers. However, they themselves have been sputtering. They've lost 3 of their last 5. Their only wins were over Detroit and Arizona, 2 teams that didn't make the playoffs. I think Kyren Williams and Blake Corum are going to need to step up. It can't just be all on Matthew Stafford's shoulders. We've seen that in Detroit, that it can get you so far, but it can't get you completely over the hump. He needs help around him. And that's kind of the thing. I think the Rams have definitely learned their lesson from last time. This game is going to be in the afternoon, so I don't think the time change is really going to affect them too much. They're playing slightly better football. I think they're going to win this one pretty handily. They're just a better team than the Panthers are. I like the Rams here.
Oh, boy. Somebody must think we're special because we got Post Raisin Bran. It's premium.
Premium?
It tastes great, right? Because Post only picks the big, plump raisins, not little ones.
No way.
Those big, crispy flakes. Look close.
Looks bumpy.
Well, that's a natural whole wheat in the wheat brand. Somebody sure must think we're special.
It's our mommy.
Post Raisin Bran. It's premium, and that makes everybody feel like somebody's special.
This is the best alternative to liquid bleach ever.
New Liquid Tide with bleach alternative.
Things go in dingy and dirty, and they come out white.
This is what I've been waiting for, a liquid detergent that whitens.
I can even get these socks white.
Give it your grungiest. This leading liquid gets it this white, but the Tide alternative is whiter.
It's a great bleach alternative.
This is your alternative to detergent and separate bleach. Safe for colors. New Liquid Tide with bleach alternative.
I've not used a drop of bleach. One detergent does it all.
The alternative is whiter.
The guilt of his brother's coma
I don't think he's gonna live.
leaves Dad pointing a finger.
Thought without thinking.
He will never stop fighting for his brother.
Lets them open their eyes. It's a common reflex response.
Rick Schroeder and James Ferrantino.
Oh, he's going to get better.
Can a family conquer the odds miles from nowhere? Tuesday.
The Keelan Benetti Police dog auditions.
I'll do anything for the job.
Seen it before.
Yeah, I can play a dog.
He's perfect.
Naturally. Premiering January 17th.
Our next wild card round matchup is Green Bay taking on Chicago, and the Packers are definitely limping into the postseason. On the bright side, Jordan Love should be ready to go. However, I'm not so sure about Josh Jacobs or Christian Watson. Added to that, their defense is also really banged up. Not to mention they can't really stop the run very well. I mean, the Ravens ran the ball up and down the field on them. The Bears ran the ball well. Again, their last game against the Vikings, they put the backups out. They conceded defeat there. I'm not going to count that too well. However, I do think the defense could quickly get overwhelmed if the Packers offense starts struggling again. Now, like I said before, the Bears did not rest their starters in their season finale against the Lions. That being said, I think they figured out when the Eagles were going to lose their game that they didn't necessarily need to do too much and took their foot off the gas pedal. They had rallied to tie the game, and then Detroit just marched right down the field and kicked a field goal. So, yeah, again, you can kind of see what's happened there. That being said, it does look like the defense is getting banged up there as well. I do think their offense is still doing really well. They move the ball well with Swift and Monungai in the backfield. Caleb Williams is awfully capable of making some big plays. Luther Burden III and Colson Loveland are definitely coming into their own in their rookie seasons. Again, I think the one problem is they're getting a little banged up too, as both their offense and defense had a couple injuries in that game. That being said, overall, the Bears are definitely a healthier team than the Packers, and they're playing in Chicago, who's going to be pumped to try to beat an old rival and finally get a playoff victory for the first time in 20 years. So, well, no, actually, 15 years. Sorry, my mistake. I like the Bears in a close one here. I think, again, I wouldn't be surprised if we have overtime again, but yeah, I like the Bears here.
There's a saying that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. But for that part of forever that is yours, think about the natural nutrition in dairy foods, like cheese, yogurt, and milk. Just 3 servings give an adult a full day's calcium for strong, healthy bones, for beautiful moves, for years to come. Dairy foods, calcium the way nature intended.
Comfort Shoe customers, this year UV Comfort Shoes annual trade-in sale has changed. Bring any old pair of shoes and trade them in for new Comfort shoes or boots with at least 20% savings, and this year, selected styles up to 50% off at UV Comfort Shoes.
Regardless of what condition your old uniforms are in, they're worth 20% off new uniforms and shoes at Uniform Village's annual trade-in sale. It's on now. Trade in your old uniforms and take 20% off new uniforms.
The Pertune's 10th anniversary season is underway. Tickets on sale now at all Ticketmaster outlets and the Knickerbocker Arena box office.
The weather takes a turn for the better. The forecast tonight.
Presenting the 8-calorie cookie, the 8-calorie ice cream scoop, or an entire dessert that's 8 calories. Sugar-free Jell-O gelatin with 100% NutraSweet. There's always room for sugar-free Jell-O.
Our next wild card round matchup is San Francisco taking on Philadelphia. Again, the Eagles elected not to go for the number 2 seed by resting their starters. The problem is they've just been hit and miss coming into the playoffs. Their defense is definitely carrying them. They still have yet to get their run game going. It's struggling too much. There's way too much of an emphasis on Jalen Hurts trying to throw the ball. So obviously Saquon Barkley, Tank Bigsby really need to step up. I think Hurts needs to try to run the ball a little bit too. Now, of course, the big problem with the 49ers is injuries. And I think you can add Brock Purdy to that mix. I don't know if he's necessarily out for this, but he got rocked on the last offensive play against Seattle. He just got sandwiched. You could tell he's not doing well. And it doesn't help that Christian McCaffrey is also not playing well. And the Eagles' defense is really almost as good as Seattle, and we just saw the 49ers' offense struggle against them. Not to mention the weather could also wind up being a factor. Now, there is talk about Fred Warner coming back for their defense right now, but that's probably not until they make the NFC Championship game, if that were even to happen. And I think that's just the overall problem here. The 49ers have way too many questions. I don't know if the Eagles are necessarily the better team, but they're healthier, and I think that's going to ultimately pay off in the end. I like Philadelphia in a close one here, so yeah, I'm going with the Eagles.
I got a call from one of those other long-distance companies, save big time. Leave AT&T. So I say, I don't pay a lot with AT&T. Thank you. My call waiting clicks. This is funny. It's so weird. It's another long-distance company. So, can you imagine? I'm like, hello? Well, no, I already have a good deal. Could you hold? I already tried you guys once, remember? Could you hold? Well, I didn't say big last time. You're still there? Give me a break. They're just not AT&T. Are they, boo-boo?
This project's the big one. Give me Jack Lemmon, Duvall, Laura Dern. Can't.
They're altering original movies for HBO.
Get me Billy Crystal, Whoopi, Robin Williams.
HBO's got him. Comic relief.
Timothy Hudson. Perfect.
Can't.
HBO's. Tell me.
What do I have to do to get these people? Get HBO?
Where are the stars? Making bold, gutsy, original entertainment for HBO.
Who can I get? Flipper? Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we could give him a call.
HBO. Get it, because we've got it.
42 years ago, something terrible happened here, a secret experiment that almost certainly killed. Your government won't tell you what happened. We will on the CBS Evening News tomorrow.
Listen up, something's in the air. Are the trees talking?
Plants are actually out there talking all the time.
You are delirious.
An all-new Northern Exposure Monday.
Hello?
We now move on to the AFC part of the wild card round, with Buffalo taking on Jacksonville in what is probably the most intriguing matchup of the playoffs. The Jaguars have won 8 straight, including wins over playoff teams like Denver and Los Angeles and the Chargers. And these games haven't exactly been close either. They've been mostly blowouts. The defense has really picked up a lot of slack as the offense has been struggling a little bit over the last few weeks. That being said, Travis Etienne is running the ball really well. If there is one big drawback is I do believe wide receiver Parker Washington, who stepped up over the last few games, got injured against the Colts last week, and I don't know if he's necessarily going to be ready for the game. It looked like a knee injury from what I saw. Now, the Bills do have the talent to win this game, obviously. They've got Josh Allen, they've got Travis Cook. Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox have been catching the ball pretty well. Unfortunately, those are their main receiving threats, as the Bills are just way too unpredictable over the last few weeks. The defense has managed to step up and play well, however, the offense has just been so hit and miss. Granted, I think it's because Allen's been hurt, so they have that going against them. They lost to the Eagles. They dominated the Jets, but that's the Jets. You look at some of these other teams they've played, they just look so flat and uninspired. So I have a little more trust in the Jaguars right now. I think the Bills, they have this golden opportunity now. They have a playoff bracket where the Chiefs aren't involved. So this should be the time that they, finally rise and shine, but I just don't see it right now. I like Jacksonville in a close one here. Like I said, I have more faith in the Jaguars right now.
For a limited time, Wendy's breakfast is yours for a song. Only Wendy's. Wendy's French toast is now 99 cents. Only Wendy's. 99 cents for a scrambled egg platter, too. Only Wendy's and Wendy's alone. Our breakfast sandwich, 99 cents. Wendy's breakfast, yours for a song. For only you.
At last, Alpine Lace free and lean, fat-free and low cholesterol singles made with real cheese. You mean I can eat cheese products again? New, free and lean.
Be in great shape, America, with Alpine Lace.
You can go skinny. Cool Whip Light Whip topping. The luscious taste of whipped cream with 1/2 the fat and only 8 calories per serving. Cool Whip Light.
Our next matchup is the LA Chargers taking on the New England Patriots. Now, like I said, last week, the Chargers rested their starters, effectively conceding defeat. I don't know how much of a difference it really would have made. You could tell Justin Herbert's still hurting. He's nursing that broken throwing hand. Omari Hampton's been banged up. And one of the few guys who did really play for them, defensive back Dante Jackson, got injured against Denver. So, yeah, again, maybe the game against Denver would have been slightly closer, but I don't know if it would have made that much of a difference. Now, the Patriots had very little to worry about over the last few weeks. I mean, they blew that big lead against the Bills, and their players, unfortunately, keep getting arrested, but that's about it. They run the ball really well with Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson. They completely dominated their game against the Dolphins. That being said, the wide receiver core has gotten a little wonky. And again, that's not all on-field related, but some of the guys are injured, and it does seem to be showing as Hunter Henry is now the top target in the passing game. And when your tight end is your top target, that's not always great. That being said, I do think the defense has stepped up to fill in some of the holes, except for that game against Buffalo where they blew a big lead. But other than that, like I said, the Patriots are playing really well. They're the healthier team at this point. I would normally pick San Diego, but again, I think the injuries are just a little too much right now. So I'm going to pick New England here.
Home. That's where the dream begins. The dream of Olympic competition. Because for every young athlete who wakes up early to practice, there's a mom and dad who wake up even earlier to get them there. So when you watch the 1992 Olympic Winter Games on CBS, remember, that's not just America's team out there. That's somebody's kid.
New on the Night Team report, charges of DWI, drugs, and criminal mischief all add up to a big political casualty in one area city. Some big cities tried it. Now Albany is ready to kick off a gun program to cut down on city crime. In Weekend Getaway, we'll take you to a place that was once off limits to American travelers. Join us for the Night Team report next.
Introducing Campbell's Cup Single Packs. The instant soup package, you buy one serving at a time. Buy a pack, mix and match. You'll find the one you want. Campbell's Cup Single Packs.
Our final NFL wildcard matchup is Houston taking on Pittsburgh. And the Texans are finally playing a playoff game that isn't the early game on Saturday. This is literally the first time in their history this has happened. Every other playoff game is the first game on Saturday. It's also their first road playoff game in the wildcard round. Again, They've always been at home. So I guess that's a little bit of exciting for them. Obviously, the Texans defense is still playing really well. I don't think they're fully prepared for Riley Leonard. They also played a lot of their backups in the second half, so I think that's kind of why that score against Indianapolis got as wonky as it did. So yeah, the defense is definitely being led by Will Anderson, Daniil Hunter, and that so everything's going really well for them there. If they do have a big flaws, again, their offense can be hit and miss. Like, they got off to hot starts with their offense, and then it just kind of starts to peter out. You look at the game against the Chargers over the holidays. They got that big touchdown on the third play of the game. They got another big touchdown, and then they didn't really do much for the rest of the game. Now, the Steelers obviously just barely squeaked into the playoffs against Baltimore. Their offense can also be really hit and miss at times. In fact, I think they actually played better when they tried the up-tempo game against the Ravens. I think they need to try doing that more instead of just constantly running the 3 yards in a cloud of dust. That having DK Metcalf back is probably going to help a little bit, so maybe things will go really well there. That being said, again, the Steelers have the flaw of their defense also being really banged up. Again, there's just, they had too many open wide receivers against the Ravens. Like, Lamar Jackson hit Zay Flowers open, twice for touchdowns, and then what was the other one? The first one, Montez Walker, he was open too. So if a team can run the ball well against them, they're easily susceptible to the play-action pass. And yeah, the Texans are just playing much better football right now. They're healthier. They're, like I said, they're playing better football. This game is in Pittsburgh, which could be a factor, but again, I think this is going to be close early on, but ultimately the Texans are going to pull away in the second half and win this one rather handily. So yeah, I like Houston here. All right, we'll wrap everything up after the break.
It's football time. Your ball, Jim Kelly.
My turn to hurt.
I did it. You can do it.
I can deal with pain, Jimmy.
My doc says ibuprofen for body pain. The medicine in Nuprin.
My trainer, same thing.
So Nupit.
Nupit with Nuprin.
Strong stuff.
Just takes one.
Nupit. Football's not so rough.
At least we wear long pants.
For back, joint, or muscle pain.
Nupit. With Nuprin.
The body pain medicine.
At last, Alpine Lace free and lean, fat-free and low cholesterol singles made with real cheese.
Now I'm really going to be in great shape.
New free and lean.
Be in great shape, America, with Alpine Lace.
It's back. The little cold that turns into a miserable cough. This is the cold Triaminic was made for. It stops cold symptoms cold. Treat your child's cold early with a pediatrician's choice, Triaminic. It stops cold symptoms cold.
He vowed he'd return one day to prove their love affair with butter didn't have to end because of cholesterol.
Jimmy, you're back.
This is for you.
I can't believe it's not butter.
I can't believe it's not butter is the only spread flavored with real sweet cream buttermilk for a fresh butter taste, but without the cholesterol.
I found my true love.
I can't believe it's not butter. The taste you love without the cholesterol.
Okay, so to wrap things up, in the college football playoff semifinals, I like Indiana over Oregon and Miami of Florida over Ole Miss. Then in the NFL wildcard round, I like the LA Rams over the Carolina Panthers, Chicago over Green Bay, Philadelphia over San Francisco, Jacksonville over Buffalo, New England over the LA Chargers, and Houston over Pittsburgh. Okay, so obviously things have settled down from the events of last week. I'm not quite as stressed out. I'm feeling a little bit better. Not great, but better. It still hurts. It's just not as bad. Again, I think things settled down. It's just, like I said last week, we had a lot happen in 2025, and it was just a lot of stress on top of everything. So that's kind of what happened there. So again, hopefully videos will start coming out on a regular basis. That being said, I am pushing the random trade review on the Authority back another week. I'm trying to get to it as best as I can. I've started scripting it, so again, it should hopefully be coming out soon. But the next video is going to be for the College Football Playoff Championship and the NFC Divisional Round. I might put up if you recall last year, I did kind of like a Let's Play of the College Football Championship and the Super Bowl. I might do it for that. And then the Conference Championship and Super Bowl if I get around to it. I'm still not entirely sure. Those are maybes right now, but for now, just know that it's going to be the Divisional Round Playoff review. in the College Football Championship. And then the random trade review on the Authority Relentless. See you all next time. Hey guys, remember that you can support my work at patreon.com/sleepytimeforcat productions, or just click the link in the description. Also, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you can be made aware of further videos.